Good evening, everyone. What is up? The 25th Genius. I think this is going to be my name now. Very positive. We're sticking with this. Is back with another Webtoon review. Of course, as you all know, well, or anyone who's new to the channel, if you don't know, Tower of God is pretty much my favorite Webtoon to read of all time, even being into Webtoons. So I try to keep up with Tower of God as much as I can. I will say this, in my, I guess, 3 months absence, I have been keeping up with Tower of God as much as I could. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's been pretty good. It's confusing as heck, but if you're a long-time reader, it's been really, really good. It's getting to the point where we want to see the conclusion of the Hell Train and where we're gonna go from here. That's all really I personally cared about. But let's get into it. This review is kind of not like on the current chapter, which it is, but it's also on all the other chapters because there's a lot of chapters that I missed and a lot has went on. So without further ado, let's get to it. Tower of God, from wherever chapter I've been to the current chapter right now. I promise you I'll get better at remembering chapters. Learn. It's just we here. What has been going on? So if you haven't been keeping up with Tower of God, for the last few years, it's been that long, we've been in this train called the Hell Train. The Hell Train is basically was the quickest way to get to floor 44 without having to climb up. So this was originally the plan. Also, they need to get the conscience of their friend back. So this was another hidden purpose in the Hell Train as well. As you clearly see, none of that went as planned. So currently in the future chapters, Jihad declares war. He deems Bam as an incredible, huge threat for reasons that we're slowly starting to identify. But regardless, he sees Bam as a threat and he wants him dead. He wants Fug dead. He wants everyone dead. He has declared war upon these groups, and war has just broken out on the Hell Train. And basically, it's went from trying to conquer the train to basically running for their lives, which I thought was a unique twist. But personally, I think this is just the author's way of making it driving on this plot of the Hell Train, which I don't mind to an absolute extent. I'm just ready for the whole Hell Train to be over. It's just been years. It's been good. Trust me, it's been really good. It's just I want to see more of the tower and more of what it has to offer. And man, there's so much stuff that's going on. First, I've always meant to say this, but I'm gonna say this. Don't mess with my dude Ji-san. I hope that's his name, and his picture's gonna be up there on the screen. This dude is nothing to mess with at all. So for all you who don't know, this is Bam's teacher. This is Bam's tutor. This is also the tutor of Karaka, which is the current slayer of Fug, which is the evil organization. Also, he is, you could just consider him the Slayer's trainer. So he's trained all these guys to hopefully become powerhouses that kill Jihad one day. His backstory is that I believe Jihad kills the one that he loves, or one of the 10 families kills the person that he loves the most. Being enraged, he just annihilates a whole 10 great family. They just wipes him off the face of the earth out of rage, and ends up joining the evil organization of Fug. But I mentioned him because he has been absolutely amazing from the moment the war was declared, even to the end, where unfortunately it's probably good for the guy. But he wasn't no punk, okay? He went out to the end. He fought like a should I say that on TV? No, he fought like a real dude, okay? That's the best way I'm gonna say it. But he honestly is just like, I have shout outs to him. I have respect for him because he was just such an amazing character. So in the beginning of the declaration of war, Meskani Kun which is a princess of Jihad and an extremely high ranker, go visits Jisan and attempts to subdue him. They all fail. Even the weapon to destroy high rankers failed. And I love the part where she says, well, we woke up an ancient beast. Be prepared for death. Which I thought she was dead by now, but apparently, plot says no. And basically, Jisan has been rushing up to the train in order to get his student, because he knows that they're coming for his head, only to be intercepted by another high ranker called Caliban. Caliban is basically the commander that is leading this group on the Hell Train to take the regulars and to kill them. And Ji-san's goal at that point was to stop them. But I guess they have a long history together as being extremely high rankers, and they had their final battle, which unfortunately, because apparently Caliban got his family's heirloom called the Essence of Bravery, he was easily able to dominate Ji-san. But he didn't go down like a punk though, okay? He didn't go down like that. But at the end, Caliban meets with Bam and says, your mentor dead. You about to die too. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry for being slow. It really made me sad because he was such an amazing character. Just in his demeanor and just the way he fights, he seemed virtually invincible. And I guess that's another thing on the author too, where he seems virtually invincible, but it will show that everyone can be taken down. Speaking of invincible people, we finally get to meet Enkel. Enkel is basically the floor leader of Floor 2, who was away on some business for which we really don't know why, or maybe we do, I just forgot. But anywho, the war begins to break out and the administrator sends them to the floor basically to help. And Enkel is absolutely a monster. I don't know who is stronger at this point, Ji-san or Enkel, because when Enkel reached the scene, she or he ignited every single thing. It was absolutely incredible. Just her flame, and it's unquenchable. She literally made hell on earth in that floor, and he did not care. And it was pretty good. Like, we got to see a lot of interesting characters. We got to see a lot of interesting dynamics. We got to see many things. We also, White is revived. White officially is revived. But see, this is the best thing about the train, in my opinion, is that White was hyped so much as a strong slayer, but he's just not strong. He's really not. Karaka is stronger than White, in my opinion. And I understand that's because he had his power and it's taking a while to get used to it. But honestly, White is just that character where he uses fear to dominate his opponents, and he really has nothing else because he's really just not that strong. And Bam kicked his butt, which I'm definitely going to make a video about that, but it's going to be a little different. And Mazzino just looked at him like he was just a punk, because he is just a little punk. But unfortunately, this horrible slayer is revived, and his role has been, I guess, call it a role. Also, Karaka is back. Just a lot of interesting characters. The one other thing about this whole arc, which is, I feel is good, but it's a negative point about what's been going on, is that you're meeting so many rankers and regulars and higher grade regulars. But here's the thing, I like the fact that we're seeing more variety, but you have to say the Tower of God is already this complex Rubik's Cube, and I feel like just adding more interesting characters that either A, we probably are never going to see, or B, this is just their only moment. I feel like it's just really making things confusing, especially to a lot of new readers, and it's a lot of work to just decipher it, because it's a lot of characters that have been introduced. It's a lot of skills. It's a lot of powers that have just been going on in this. Oh, and of course, Bam is just getting stronger. And the current chapter actually proves it, because he just eats Black March, because he's a bottomless black pit of power. And now he's gained infinitely new power. And honestly, if him and Caliban do fight, I am interested to see how this fight is going to go. because I always have no doubt in Bam in terms of his abilities, and even him fighting high-ranking people because he's just that strong. Bam is such a strong main character, just in terms of his ideals and just his personality and just even his power, that honestly I just end up rooting for him like every single step of the way. But that's pretty much the main gist of the current chapters of Tower of God. There are many good things that are going on. The war seems to be concluding, which is really good because they're trying to just escape the train, because the war has only begun that Jihad has waged. So it's pretty interesting to see what exactly is going to go down. We still have floor 70 that we're supposed to see, because Yuri wanted Bam to go to 470 when he becomes a ranker, but that may happen a little sooner than expected. Also, the regulars may translate from D rankers to C rankers, which is something that I'm excited to see. I like how the author is giving us all this material in detail just to keep the story going along, which is really good because I can't barely get enough Tower of God. But some of it is getting a little, it can be a tad confusing, and if you're really not paying attention to the details, you can easily get lost. I've always compared Tower of God to Hunter x Hunter in the terms of the fact that how it's structured, but also, in the words of my friend, as the Hunter x Hunter manga is a lot of work, the Tower of God manga webtoon is a ton of work as well. But if you take the time, it is definitely one of the best reads that is out there in the webtoon world, even over the new stuff. So that concludes my review of the Tower of God. Expect more other videos. I'm going to touch on more variety of webtoons, etc. You know how this goes. But if you like Tower of God, what do you think about Tower of God? Hopefully, if you want to read Tower of God, that'd be great. Read Tower of God. Don't forget to leave a heart and a like and all that stuff, a comment in your favorite webtoon and stuff, as we've been doing really good with that. With that being said, I thank you for listening to this video, and I will see you in the next video.